agenda, or were they all in one?
I doubt it.
Okay,
I'm sure it's.
okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Did they come with ice cream? Saturday.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Mayor Burris?
Here.
Commissioner Basil? Here. Commissioner Mazzola?
Here.
Commissioner Mila?
Yes.
Commissioner Seaman?
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas? Here. Commissioner Williams? Yes. A quorum is present.
Did you look over the agenda for tonight? Any additions? I'll add one to new business. And that's on the Christmas tree stand we need to talk about tonight. Any others? Need a motion to accept the agenda?
I'll make a motion to accept the agenda with the amendment of the Christmas tree stand / event, or just the stand.
Second.
We have a motion and support. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Now it's public comments. Do we have any comments? Then we'll move on to the standing items. Approval of the minutes for the July 19th DDA tree work session meeting. Have you reviewed it, and is there any additions, corrections?
Motion.
We approved it, minutes of July 19th, DDA training.
Second.
We have a motion and support. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And we have the approval of the minutes for the July 21st special meeting.
Motion to approve the minutes for the July 21st, 2018 special meeting.
Second.
Mike, you support it?
Yes.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Approval of the minutes for the July 24th special meeting.
I move we approve the minutes of July 24th, 2018 special meeting.
Second.
We have a motion and support for that special meeting. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Looks like we never approved anything all summer. Approve of the minutes for the July 24th regular meeting.
I had a question about that. Under new business, where it just has the item, the request to vacate a street, we didn't motion to do anything, but we did come to a consensus that we advised the city manager to check with the other residents and properties that would be affected by that and report back to us. So I just, rather than have it look like nothing was discussed, that at least makes sense to have what we came up with, the recommendation there.
So you want it to say recommendation for the city manager?
To survey, yeah, wasn't it to survey the,
Affected residents and property owners.
So survey recommendation for the city manager to
Survey affected residents and property owners. And then under number 8, the last sentence, it's just missing the word by in front of Williams. Motion made by Williams, I should say.
Okay.
Anything else? We need a motion for July 24th regular meeting.
Motion to approve the minutes for the July 24th, 2018 regular meeting as corrected.
And I will second.
Motion, we have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Approval of the minutes for the August 1st DDA trees work session meeting.
I have one question, I thought I sent an email, but under item 4D, the word renew, I wasn't sure if that should be renewed or reviewed maybe.
Call that a typo, review, or review.
Okay.
Any other corrections? Need a motion for August the 1st work session?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes with the review.
Motion and support. All in favor of the August 1st tree meeting, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Approval of the minutes for August the 2nd special meeting.
Motion to approve the minutes for the August 2nd, 2018 special meeting.
I'll second.
August 2nd special meeting, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Now, we'll get something else. Approval of the bills for August 2018.
I got a couple questions on them. Since we spent all that money on that BSNA program, this month we're sending them $2,300.
It's an annual fee for support. 1 year.
I will approve the bills for August 2018.
Second.
We have a motion to approve the bills.
Take over on that. Frontier, says electricity instead of phone. Under sewer.
Any other discussion? All those in favor of paying the bills, say aye.
Aye.
Motion. Receive revenue expenditures report for June and July 2018.
Expenditure, I got a problem with that. Under DPW, It's already starting out in a negative.
Where you at, what's your reporting, Tom?
Under the full-time second person.
Line item number?
Are you talking about for June or July?
Maybe this ain't what I'm looking at. Activity for June, July.
If I go to the June report for a moment, at the end of each of the funds, you'll see the fund balance numbers. Those are preliminary. We still, I think, have one or two items to come in before we close out the year. But based on what we have currently, fund balance for the general fund will be reduced by about $3,000 for the year. At one point, we were up to 140,000 reduction. The major streets will be reduced by 30,000, which again was the budget was for 58, so we've been able to cut that back. We keep an eye on our expenditures. Local streets will increase by 80,000, and most of that's because of extra money that the state is now sending for road repairs. Sewer fund will increase by 58,000, although I think that'll be one of the items that'll be adjusted before we final this out. And water fund will increase by 20. Did you find that one you were talking about?
Yes. 1441702
We've had some of the line items that we were using last year, we're not using them the same way this year, and we haven't changed the payroll section yet, so we'll make adjustments to get those in line.
I was just wondering, because it's in July and it's already in the hole.
Yeah, because that'll be incorporated in full-time number one. We just need to make the adjustment on the payroll. We haven't done that yet. Part of the problem is we're still closing out the previous year, so until we finalize that, we can't get rid of that.
So full-time one will be both.
They'll end up being both. Yeah, I won't say full-time one anymore, I'll just say full-time. Thanks for pointing that out.
Any other questions? I move to approve the revenue expenditure report for June and July of 2018. All those in favor of accepting the report, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried. We got a report, the Department of Public Works report. Anything you want to add to your report?
No, thank you.
City manager's report.
I noted in my report that we've received the baseline report for the redevelopment ready community program. Karen Weaver, who is sitting in the audience tonight, has a
short presentation before we act on the resolution to move forward with the RRC program. I noted, I made a note in my report about 133 Court with the water issues. I think it's in the DPW report, that that's been resolved. We'll keep an eye on it. I think we're in good shape. And I also noted that we went to court a week or so ago for some zoning and blight issues at 405 North Court and 123 West Day. We got some direction from the judge, and we'll be back September 4th at 3 o'clock to hopefully move forward with those issues and get them resolved. Answering the questions on any other part of the report if you have any.
Any questions? Commissioner would like to hear? Ask? Okay, then we'll move on to the financial actions, 2018-2019 budget adjustment.
A couple of items that, excuse me, that have caused us to request some adjustments have been a good one for the sale of that property on East Main. And I thought if we could, I'd leave the budget as clean as possible for the next manager. So I've made some adjustments, both in revenue and expenditure, to cover things like the longevity payment for the city manager in 2022. We'll have that money be in this year's budget, but at the end of the year, then I would expect that you would assign it in the fund balance. But this way, it's already preserved, and you're not taking it from fund balance down the road. So items such similar to that, you approved the engineering at the Veterans Park, so it adjusted the budget to account for that. So this is those types of items to keep our budget balanced.
But the only one that I've got a problem with is that Veteran Park one. We gave him $200,000. Why did we gotta give him more?
The $200,000 is assigned to the fund, in the fund balance for the park. The budget to spend that money this year needs to be included in our current budget. When we look at those and finalize last year, we'll come out and you can reassign those funds, and I would expect you would reduce that 200 by 15,000 to make up for that.
But it's showing it's taking more right now. We have took away from.
Yes, correct.
So if they had looked at it, it would show we're spending more.
Or we're
For
not,
right now.
not spending any of the money that's assigned is not being spent. It's just set aside. It's still in the bank account.
Right, no, I meant that was way,
I
which is we're given more than the 200,000 for now, because we haven't deducted it, because I think we haven't pulled back yet.
True. Just because we haven't finalized that
Right.
year.
So will we need a motion later on at some point to adjust that figure from 200,000 down to like 185?
Well, what I plan that you would see is once we finish and close out 2018, then you would have a resolution or a motion come before you that adjusted those signed numbers, but also would include things like the $9,600 that's budgeted from last year that will be, I would request be assigned towards the painting of the water tower. So it's not just that one item, there'll be 3 or 4.
Investor will be up on all those assignments that we've made.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, please.
Ms. Bailey?
motion and support on the budget adjustments. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Now we're down to the redevelopment ready committee, RRC resolution 2018-8.
The resolution to authorize implementation of the recommendations is before you tonight. Karen Weaver is here from Michigan Economic Development Corporation and has a short presentation to make sure you're all up to date on what RRC stands for. Karen?
Great, thank you. Thanks for having me here today. So I am the RRC planner for this region. I work with communities on the west side of the state and then also the communities in the southwest part of the state, Region 8. Thanks, Bill, for keeping this moving. I had asked Bill if this is something that he wanted to put off until management was in place, but he really felt strongly that he wanted to keep the process going and keep Stanton moving along. So I appreciate his time and effort in doing this. So just going to talk about a few things today, a little bit about redevelopment ready communities, some highlights from the report that you hopefully saw, and then next steps. So just a little bit of background here. So redevelopment ready communities is housed within community development at the MEDC. Also within community development is our other technical assistance program, Michigan Main Street, and then a lot of the incentives like brownfield tip, community development block grants, our community revitalization program, or CRP. Those are housed within community development. Business development is really, the attraction of and the retention of businesses. And then, of course, hopefully you've heard of our marketing effort at the MEDC with Pure Michigan. So our strategic focus is really to empower communities to shape their own future, and that's a future with a solid planning, zoning, and economic development foundation. And that really does serve as the foundation for those other incentives I just mentioned, because that gets into specific projects. RRC is intended to focus or help with that relationship with business, talent, and place, and how the three of those things really are connected more than ever, I would say. These are some of our guiding principles. So a couple of them up there. First is partnerships. The best practices, the RRC best practices really touch on a lot of different subject matter. Much of which is under local government purview, but some of which is not. And so we encourage you to, whether it's your chamber, your DDA, schools, just be creative and use those partnerships that you've got in the community as we're talking about the best practices. And then secondly, I think, is the community vision and implementation. And so our goal really with RRC is to not just have plans that kind of sit on a shelf, but plans that have implementation steps and really bite-sized steps to get you to that vision that you might have outlined or should have outlined. So on the left side there, under engagement, your community would have attended, a representative would have attended the training we put on. This body passed a resolution to participate in redevelopment ready communities. And then the staff that was here completed what we call a self-evaluation, which really houses all of the planning and zoning and other information we need. So that was sent to us, and then under evaluation, we took a look at all of that. We spoke with a few stakeholders who have worked projects through in your community, and then we're here today to present that baseline report to you. This map gets busier every time we do these presentations, but we're working with about 240 communities from around the state, including Detroit, and I think the very smallest is up in Region 3, Harrisville, I think is still our smallest community, but all different geographies, all different community sizes, and there are 24 certified, I think there's 4 or 5 that are coming up as well. So this is the foundation of our work, is these 6 best practices here. The first, we looked at your master plan, downtown plan, capital improvements plan, and then how you engage the public. The second is the zoning regulations. We took a deep dive into your zoning, which I know is being worked on at the moment. Bill and I talked about that. A deep dive into your zoning regulations. Your master plan is the vision, and then your zoning ordinance is really the legal teeth to get you there. The third, the development review process, which is essentially the site plan review process. The fourth is how a community recruits and educates board members on an ongoing basis. The fifth is really the cornerstone of RRC, partly because we're the MEDC and we want to get sites turned over, we want projects, and so we spend a lot of time focusing on Best Practice 5, which looks at how a community visions for, prioritizes, and then markets their most important sites. And then the last one is what economic development goals a community has established for themselves, and then how the community markets itself. So this is an overall snapshot after completing the evaluation. Green means it's complete, yellow means it's on its way, and then red, some more work is needed. So pretty average actually compared to a lot of the other communities we've evaluated. So a lot of good things going on there. Touching on a few of those items that were marked green was first your master plan. If I recall, I think it's like a 2016 to 2036 master plan. Does a nice job laying out what those actions are, those responsible parties, and what those steps are to get you to accomplish those goals. Encouraging training, so something as simple as reimbursing mileage are small things that a community can do to encourage training. And then is posting the fee schedule online. That's important so everybody understands what's expected of them. Next is yellow, and so when we did this evaluation, we evaluate what's in place at that time, what's currently adopted. So I was reviewing the current zoning ordinance and then also reviewing the drafts of the new zoning ordinance and providing some feedback to that. So I know that's on its way. And then a little bit more work on the economic development strategy piece to build on the goals that are already provided in that in the master plan. And then these are a few that are marked as red. The first is the capital improvements plan. So this a CIP is outlined in the Michigan Planning Enabling Act. It's a 6-year CIP inclusive of public structures and improvements. And so besides your zoning ordinance, your capital improvements plan, a 6-year, it really is that other key implementation tool to your master plan. The second, a little bit more low-hanging fruit, I would say, is developing a board and commissions application. And then last is the sites piece, and I think that one typically is last in most cases because a community often builds on the vision in their master plan and what their zoning calls for to really narrow down, what are the couple of sites that are most important to us that we want to proactively put out there for the development community. So moving forward, I think you have a resolution in front of you today. If you would choose to adopt that resolution of intent to participate, we would work with you to complete any missing best practice criteria at your own pace, as your resources allow. We would ask the community to provide quarterly updates to us, although we're typically in contact more often than that. And then once certified, you need to consider you would be a redevelopment of the community. And again, hitting on that partnerships item, there's some opportunities in any community that we've worked in to build new or foster existing relationships, and we want to encourage that. So this touches on kind of what the value, what the worth is in putting yourself through this. Right, Bill? So I think that many communities have found that third-party review to be helpful. Some of the things that we're lacking are often not surprising, right? You were already working on your zoning ordinance. It's no surprise to have someone say, some changes are needed. So that's helpful. This is an ongoing partnership. We hand you this report today, and then we work closely with you to figure out how do we get these things accomplished. We do have technical assistance match funding available. If there's something in this report that you know as a community you cannot accomplish on your own, that's something we can talk about helping with. And then last, but also importantly, is participating in RRC makes you eligible for community development funding consideration, those community development incentives that we talked about earlier. This is where many of our resources are housed. We've also got what we call our RRC online library, where we keep examples from other communities so that, something like a board and commissions application, you don't need to reinvent the wheel to do this. And just other suggestions that we've got in place. And then this is my contact information. So happy to answer any questions you have.
As I noted in my report earlier, in case you missed it, we have been in contact with Tim Johnson, who's on Main Street working on our zoning ordinance, to make sure that the final draft incorporates everything that's required through RRC, so we don't have to do that later. So hopefully when that comes to you to be approved, it'll already have the blessings of the redevelopment ready communities program with it. Maybe one of the reasons why you haven't already seen the zoning ordinance come back, between that and all the other items that are in there.
I move we adopt the resolution for that. Redevelop that community.
And I'll second.
Any questions? Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Now we're down to existing, we've already done that one. We'll mark it off. New business. And on there I brought up the tree stands, and the bill that I had in my possession, I forgot to bring it tonight, but during that hectic time, we were trying to get ahead on that. Here it is. We had got the city manager at that time, that we had at that time, wanted to get a piece of iron to go into the sidewalk up there on the southwest corner to hold a tree. And then we bought the tree, it was about $100 from out there to the tree farm. Well, I went up and got it, and I paid for it. And in the hectic time we had during that period, well, I won't go into any detail, it got overlooked. I'd like to be paid my money.
That's too bad.
I
You know,
make
you can leave anytime.
Make a motion to reimburse Ken Burris for the money he spent on that
Second.
tree stand.
Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried.
Now we're down to public comments again. Any? Okay, then we'll move on to commissioner comments. We got any of them?
I have a check for $513 that was raised on Saturday by some autograph signings by former Major League Tigers.
How
And,
much is it?
$513 for the ball fields at Veterans Park. Dave Rosamond did the majority of that shift, and I thank Mike for sitting with him. I know it was a tough job.
Fun.
And actually, I think we could have made more money, but Dave didn't want a price put on the balls to be autographed. And he also brought in his own pictures and baseball cards. Some people donated $2 for a signed ball, and the balls were cost more than that, which I donated. So, but I'm happy to present this. Who do I give it to? And then Dave also signed a bucket of balls to be used however we wish. I suggested to Bill before the meeting that maybe we could leave the balls here and people could come in and buy them for $10 if they'd like.
We can make a sign up to let people know and have them available to come.
I didn't count them.
Sounds like a good plan.
Maybe put something on our website so it goes to Facebook. And then I'd just like to make a comment, and thank everybody for their hard work during Stanton Fashion Days and getting ready for Stanton Fashion Days. And the flyer hasn't come out yet, but next Friday, the 24th, from 2 to 4 p.m., we're gonna have a farewell Bill welcome Vester party with some punch and cookies and things right here. So welcome to that, and we're gonna get flyers out this week for that. So
What's the date?
next Friday, the 24th, from 2 to 4.
What time?
2 to 4,
2 to 4?
Yep.
Next Friday.
next Friday.
With Mary's check that she had there for $500, I just want to verify that when we talked about the previous, about $500 that she had donated as well, did that all get assigned in a separate spot from our general fund?
It was noted in the
It was
minutes that
earmarked
it
to
goes
business.
to baseball fields.
Only.
Yep, only.
I just want to make sure that that's all going in a little
It's
corner
on the dish,
somewhere.
yeah.
The other one was different in that I entirely paid for that was presented to the public as if the ball fields don't happen. Because at that point,
Yeah.
it
that's
wasn't
under-
for sure. So if the ball fields didn't happen, that other $500 was supposed to go to my husband's scholarship fund. So, but that was only, I mean, it looks like the ball fields are gonna be a go, so it's, this one, yes. It's to Veterans Park then.
Any other comments from the commissioners? What you got to say, Mike?
I have no comments.
Sounds good. We need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Aye.
All opposed?